Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be channeling messages for you from your spirit guides, so let's just hop right into it. Okay, right off the bat. Some clarifiers from here, please, guys. Okay. So the back of the deck energy, I think we got this last time, is the Six of Pentacles. And that is about the scales balancing out in the physical. So it means that there's a lot of giving and a lot of receiving. It's a give and take kind of thing. It's a balance. There's like the scales. You can see the scales there. There's a balance to what you're doing in the physical world, okay? And there's people that are giving to you and there's people that are receiving from you, okay? That's what I'm getting. And Spirit is really mentioning that you might have felt like you were about a bit, I can't even speak. Okay. You were a bit imbalanced with the Two of Pentacles in reverse. I'm seeing that something that was designed to topple you over was designed to make you reconsider the avenues you were going down because they just crashed. They weren't a viable option to you when you thought they were. And you know, you might have perceived this as a tower moment. You might have perceived it as that, but it came out in reverse. So it's telling me that it wasn't a tower. It's not done for. It's not over. Basically, it's not over. It might feel imbalanced right now. It's in an imbalanced state, but it's not over. Okay. And this has something to do with the physical world because both cards are about pentacles. And so you're trying to balance out your finances. You're trying to balance out maybe options. Maybe you had options that you needed to consider, right? Because looking here with the Ten of Cups in the next one, followed by the Nine of Cups in underneath as a clarifier, it really shows that you're feeling so good about yourself. You are in a state of fulfillment. You can take care of yourself in the physical world. You can take care of yourself emotionally, mentally, spiritually, all of it. You got it handled, okay? Nine of Cups is all about personal satisfaction. And I think you've achieved a milestone that you did not think that you were going to, because I think you were so focused on balancing out what was right in front of you that you kind of forgot or just wasn't looking. You just weren't looking at what you actually had, which is the Ten of Cups, which is the ultimate family, which is the happy life that you know you deserve, okay? And I think it's coming out to remind you that you are still very much on your way there. Maybe right now it's something that you might not even be able to see for yourself because of what had occurred previously that made you perceive it as a tower. Maybe this, I can sense that it's another person. Maybe this person, you had to kind of assume that they were not going to be your person because of this tower. But Spirit is coming back to tell you that they are your fulfillment. You are fulfilled within yourself right now, which is perfect, which is good. And if you don't feel fulfilled within yourself, it's okay, because that's exactly where you're heading. And when you're in the state, you attract a much more balanced, a much more balanced relationship. Okay, when you are constantly, when you need someone to fill another part of you, it's gonna be imbalanced, unfortunately. And that's because, yes, of course, we can pour into each other when we need to, but there needs to be a level of contentment within self in order to settle, right? The Ten of Cups, I've actually been feeling this within myself for some reason, probably for this reading, but the Ten of Cups, they have a baby, they have a family, they're under a tree that's been around for longer than they have, right? And this gives the energy of settling down. Maybe you weren't in a place where you felt like you wanted to settle down, right? But if you want to achieve that fulfilling state of family outside of yourself, then there is a level of settling down that needs to be accepted, because to build a family requires a strong foundation, right? You can't just up and leave whenever you want to, whenever you stop feeling satisfied with them. Like, you need to, every day when you wake up, you need to commit to it again. It's an everyday commitment, right? That's how I see love. It's when I wake up every day, I'm committed. I'm not gonna run. I'm not gonna do all those things that cause instability. I'm committed to be stable. I'm making choices to make sure that I feel stable within myself, right? Like, yes, of course, that feeling of freedom is so important, but as a Libra, I feel like there's a balance. It's not just all freedom or all settling down. There's a middle, right? And there should be a middle there, because the two polar opposites are not sustainable. They're not. And so you're finding a middle ground. You're finding a middle ground. You're going to be speaking to them. You're going to have a conversation. You're going to reach out to them and try to figure out a way to make things happen, okay? Because you're destined to receive this. It's yours. And it's important that you understand that, yes, you can have freedom, and yes, you can settle down. Ain't that a trip? Ain't that a trip? I want to pull out more cards for you to see what exactly occurred here, or what is occurring. Five of Wands in reverse. Yeah, so your mind has settled down. You have received clarity from the universe. The universe has been sending you a lot of signals and a lot of signs, such as synchronistic numbers, angel numbers. You could be seeing butterflies flying like at you. And you can, it's just whatever is special to you. The universe is presenting it to you, like as in synchronistic or symbolic little nudges, right? Saying that the universe is here. The universe knows what you want, and it's guiding you towards it, right? So whenever we see synchronicities, you don't need to get caught up in what every number means. You don't need to get caught up on the symbolisms of each animal that you see. It's more about the universe is trying to make you feel more secure, knowing that you are being led to exactly where you're meant to be, right? By sending you these little things like 333 or 111, or like my angel number is 1234. I see that every day, and I don't even try to, but I see it like twice a day because it shows up twice. And I honestly don't look at the clock that often. And sometimes I'll be in the car and I'll just look at the time, and it'll be 1234. Or I'll be passing by my kitchen and I'll look on my stove and the time says 1234, right? So those things might be happening for you. Just know that is the universe sending you a sign that they are here. They're sending you clarity. They're leading you towards the right place, okay? And this Three of Swords has also come out. Why, Spirit? Because you need to communicate your past pains to this other person that you're dealing with. You can't just hide your past because you're supposed to learn from it. Okay, I feel a presence right here. So if you see me like staring, I'm just like, who are you? You know, but I do feel like a presence right here with me. And they might be connected to you, viewer. What? Are you connected to the viewer? Who are you? A spirit guide that is sending you that information. Okay, so your spirit guide is here literally confirming that, no, we are right next to you, and we're communicating with you through me. And so these messages are really important for you at this time, but please use discernment because this is a general reading, and so only take the messages that are meant for you. Okay, if this really resonates with you, perfect. But if there's like it kind of resonates but not really, consider watching another video, because I don't want to lead you astray. I don't want you to believe that you are meant to go down a path that you might not supposed to be going down. Okay, so use your discernment and understand that this is a general reading. But back to what your guides are saying. They're saying that you need to come to an acceptance with this past pain. That is what you're working through, and that is what your guides are here to help you with. It is no longer about battling the pain. It's no longer about headbutting it. It's about looking at it in its face and being like, okay, I feel the pain. I know what I've been through, and I know this one hurts really deeply, and it's affected me really deeply. And I'm not going to pretend like it didn't. I'm not going to pretend. I'm going to accept that I'm in pain. I'm going to accept that I've been hurt. I'm going to accept that I needed this time to heal because I was betrayed. I was hurt. Okay, so maybe even saying those words out loud, maybe you just, you're not the type to outwardly express that kind of stuff. Maybe you just don't have the type of people around you that can help you feel normal in that time. Maybe you just don't feel like a normal human being when you're expressing your own pains. But collective, it's really important to remember, like, other people come to you when they're in pain, and they're very grateful for you when you listen to them and when you're open to them, because I think you are collective. I think you are a person that opens your heart to a lot of people, whether you see it that way or not. I think a lot of people see your heart a lot loud, or a lot more clearly than you do. And maybe you don't consider yourself a safe space for your own emotions, or the people around you just don't feel like a safe space to talk about this pain with. But Spirit is leading you to communicate to the person that you really want to have this beginning with, or this like life with, because it's really important to keep important people in the loop, right? We don't need to share all our secrets with strangers, but we definitely should have someone that knows our secrets, and not in a harmful way where we don't get scared that they know. We're just really filled with gratitude that they are open to listening, open to understanding our situations, right? And so the devil comes out to say that this might be a really hard thing for you to do. Maybe you grew up in a household where talking about pain wasn't a thing. Opening up wasn't a thing. Running away was the thing. Pretending like it never happened was the way, right? Maybe that was how you were raised. And I think you decided that you didn't want to live in that. You didn't want to live like that because you have a heart, and you have the capacity to show compassion to others. And with the Nine of Swords coming out in reverse, you are really learning how to stare this devil right in its face, okay? Normally with the Nine of Swords, normally there, she's covering her face. She can't look at things because she's too scared. She's completely filled with fear and nightmares about it, right, with this devil. But with it in reverse, she's opening her hands. She's gonna look at this devil right in its face, okay? And she's gonna challenge this devil. And it's like, why are you here? And what can I learn to eradicate you? That's, I remember when I had to face my first demon, like, it was actually really scary. I'm not trying to scare you. I'm just sharing my own story. But when I literally had to command it to come up to my face because it preferred being in the shadows. Because the way I was raised was to, you know, like, hold it all in until I just couldn't anymore, and it's explosive, and then I get called many names for it. And so I've had to deal with my inability to communicate properly. That was a communication issue, right? That was a issue on my part where I didn't feel safe to talk to anyone, and so I just bottled it up until I just couldn't anymore, and then I just bleh, you know, and then I end up hurting people that I don't mean to hurt, and I end up isolating when I don't need to isolate, right? And so that was my demon for a bit, and I had to face it because it would rather sit in the shadows, and I literally commanded it to my table. Okay, so when you're like in your meditation space, when you're in your mind, you can imagine like a conference table, like a table to gather and have a conversation. What I do is that I call upon my own internal demons. These are, you know, I call them demons because the devil card, but really it's like your shadows. Okay, this is shadow integration. If you've heard of shadow integration, this is exactly the process. I'm just using terms that are coming up right now, and they will try to scare you, right? But realize fear is an illusion. It's literally just to deter you from having that conversation. So I literally tell them, like, cut the BS, come sit down at my table, and we need to have a conversation because this cannot continue. You're not going to scare me away from healing myself. You're not going to scare me away from integrating you back into myself. I'm not ashamed of you. I'm not afraid of you. Right? And so just be really like straight up and confront those demons. They're not ish, okay? Literally, like, of course they have the ability to make you fearful, but you're not in that state anymore. You've challenged yourself in a way where you're not afraid of your own fears anymore. You may think you are, but when you confront this demon, when you confront the devil of your own, you know, when you're confronting your shadow, you will come to see that that shadow does not have power over you, but in fact is just a part of you that needs to be seen, that needs to be heard, that needs to be talked through. Because sometimes when we push things away for so long, we don't actually learn how to speak to it properly as an adult, as an evolved human being. Maybe we spoke to it when we were younger and we couldn't do it because they had the power. You know, we didn't see ourselves for who we were yet. But now you're in a very different place. It's time to integrate those shadows, because once you do, you're going to be able to heal this pain. Okay? And maybe there's an addiction to the pain. Maybe you have attached yourself to the story of being hurt for so long that now you don't know how to operate outside of that. Or maybe now you want to operate outside of it, and you're realizing that it's kind of a low-key addiction to stay in this thought loop. Like, we've been thinking it for so long, like our brain just naturally goes there. And so the neural pathways have already formed, right? And so creating new neural pathways, that is the part of the journey that requires discipline, that requires you to firmly believe that you can heal. It is no longer a flighty thing. It's not something that flickers within you. It is something that you are determined to do. That's the only way that I found to create new neural pathways, by wanting a different outcome. Okay, maybe you crash out over this heartache like all the time whenever you think about it, but try to, when it comes up again, just sit with it and be like, yes, I know that had occurred. Yes, that was messed up. Yeah, that was cruel. Yeah, I didn't deserve that. And that's why I'm going to be better. And that's why I'm going to do better. And that's why I'm going to heal so I attract better. And that's why I'm going to rewire my brain so that I no longer think this way about my life, because I have a lot more years to live. And this pain, yes, it was painful. It shaped me, but I'm growing out of it now. I'm growing out of it. And it's time for me to experience something different. Even that desire of different will lead to healing, because it's like you accepting that you're going to step out of your comfort zone. And yeah, sometimes our comfort zone can be pain. It can feel comfortable to just sit there and feel the pain of what has already occurred, right? Because it's a lot easier to do that. It is. It's a lot easier to sit in the pain. But then there's some point where you just don't want to anymore, and you're tired of it, and it's leading you down the wrong path. You don't feel motivated. You don't feel excited about life. You don't feel like there's a better future for you. And if you do feel that way, if you can't imagine your future in a better way, that's usually a very big sign that, it's time to work on the neural pathways that are being created in your mind, because there might be limiting beliefs. There might be thoughts that hold you into that limiting energy, that lack energy. Okay, so I'm going to pull out a card from the Guan Yin deck, because she is all about compassion. She is all about showing heart, showing love. Excuse me, in times that we don't feel like we necessarily deserve it, or we don't know how to find it. She will normally come to you during those times. So let's see what message she has for you, collective. Guan Yin, a message for the collective, please. Sweeping Sister Willow. I can't show you the image because it has nudity, but I will read you the... Okay. Sweeping Sister Willow gently brings you healing for forgiveness and a release of old pain now. Wow. That's so crazy. Okay. Your time for greater inner freedom is dawning, and the cleansing sadness and healing of forgiveness is the pathway to that greater freedom now. You deserve this freedom, and you are swiftly becoming ready to gift it to yourself with the help of Guan Yin. So, yeah, that card literally is everything we just talked about, right? You are being guided away from the sadness and the pain in your heart and soul. And you're finally stepping out of this period where you feel trapped, where you feel stuck, and you're ready to give yourself the gift of freedom. And we talked about it earlier, right? With the whole freedom versus settling down thing. And so I think that that your heart is ready to release. And how does one release? Okay. We release, it's so hard to speak. We release by letting all those things come up, like we talked about, and then not holding on to it, not identifying with it anymore, no longer attaching ourselves to those feelings that come through. Because we now understand that we deserve a better life. We deserve to wake up feeling lighter. We deserve to have our freedom of mind again. No longer obsessed, no longer stuck in some kind of broken system, no longer stuck in a relationship that only serves to hurt. So we'll do a little prayer from the book. They have little prayers, so we'll do one together to really set this energy into motion for you, okay? Because I really want this for you. I'm like, yes, let's go. Okay. Beloved Guanyin, sweeping Sister Willow, with gracefulness and surrender into love, you forgave great transgressions against you because you chose wisdom and spiritual growth. You did not hide your anger. You simply chose to let it go and find peace and compassion in your heart. You were free to ascend into bliss. Please bless me that I may draw upon my own wisdom and spiritual strength to forgive and empower myself now. I allow sweeping Sister Willow to gently wash my heart clean. Om Mani Padme Hum. Oh, that's beautiful. So yes, within these next few days, you will be feeling a energy kind of lifting off of you, a veil. It's like a heavy blanket, right? A weighted blanket like coming off of you, and you're gonna feel a lot lighter and realize that this is a blessing from your guides, but it's also something that is naturally occurring for you anyways. Your guides are just here to make the process go a lot smoother and to help you feel at peace while all this change is occurring in your life, okay? So that is the message I have for you today. Thank you for being here. If the message resonated, consider giving this video a like, hype it up, and subscribe to the channel. And I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.